Today was just a day where I had to run some errands for myself, for the business, just beginning of the year, end of the year type stuff. Tomorrow we'll be back at Farley, back up there working, cutting. They're calling for some warmer weather, so it's probably going to start thawing out and get to be a muddy mess. Today, aside from that, back to logging into things. We were having some fuel problems with one of our grapple skidders. I talked to Dad this morning about it, and he kind of got an idea what it was. They did a few things, and the filter looked perfectly fine on it. Like it did. Like the filter did not look contaminated at all. It's the glass type filters. A lot of you guys know run this older equipment. So what we did, I went out there, put a new filter on it. Come to find out, and I show it in the video here, there was some water. You couldn't, it was hard to tell, but there was a chunk of ice built up in that filter. So hopefully we just had some a contaminated filter, maybe a little contaminated fuel. Hopefully we can get by pretty cheap on this little breakdown. It seems to be running fine now. Like I said, you'll see it all in the video. Guys, thanks a lot. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for all the new subscribers following along with us, checking out our videos. Check out everything we do with loggerthreads.com, all your logging and forestry inspired apparel. Got a Logger Threads beanie on here. It says Logger Threads on it somewhere, where I'm not sure, over here maybe. Anyway, Timber Tracker app, timbertracker.net, the website. We've got some things planned with that again this year, just kind of ramping things up. Other than that, thanks a lot for following along. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Here lately, we've had a run of fuel problems, it seems like. Back here in Stockton today, working on our grapple skidder. Like I said, we didn't work up north today. I had some errands to kill and had coffee with Dad this morning. He's been running this skidder out here a lot on this job. He's still dragging some walnut and some oak out, but even the last time I was on it, the skidder wasn't running real good, and they've tried a few different things, and I asked him if they'd change filters or anything. Of course, he said no, but really the filter didn't look too bad. I took that filter off and drained it, and it looked pretty clean. Now, they've sucked the tank out because it seems like under a load it's just not getting any fuel and popping, so kind of crackling, popping, whatever. So what we're going to do today is I'm actually going to put a new filter on this, and I'm going to try a little trick here. I've got some Seafoam, and I don't know what they put in this stuff, but I've used this on a lot of different things here, this Seafoam, and it's just, I've had good luck with it. It's like a magical elixir. I don't know what it does. Guy might want to drink a little bit, might make him feel better, run faster, jump higher, I don't know. Probably shouldn't do that, but anyway. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fill that filter full of Seafoam when I put it on, and a lot of times I'll fill that the filters up with Power Service, or I've filled it up with Howes. I've even filled them up with engine motor oil before when I put them on, especially more so in the summertime. And the reason is, if that motor oil, I've heard people, and I didn't. It's not a trick I learned. It's a trick I was taught. Like that motor oil, it's combustible. And as long as that pump will pump it, that diesel engine will burn it. And it's just to get the engine going back up, because a lot of times you put them on there, you get a little air, suck a little air, so you got to be careful, it seems like, or at least that's the luck I always have by putting them on. So we'll fill this thing up with Seafoam, then we're going to put it on here and see how it runs. And filling these filters up, it's not really as small as those holes are in them. Like I said, these are same filters, just and I try to keep 2 or 3 of them on the truck. If you look here in my toolbox, I've got some of those Wix filters in there. Of course, I just kind of keep odds and ends in this box. Seafoam, bar, just whatever. It's kind of my catch-all box. But we're gonna fill this with Seafoam, put it on there. Then I'm gonna dump some Howes. I've got some Howes. We're gonna dump some treatment in the fuel tank in case there is some water in there. Hopefully that Howes will kind of help neutralize that, and we might even put a little Seafoam. I've got an extra can, dump a little bit in the fuel tank there, see if that'll try to neutralize some of that water, get it out of there anyway. So here we go. Actually, just we'll leave things rolling even. How about that? Child-proof, of course. I am a child, so there we go. Got like the littlest. I've like I said, I've had some crazy good luck with this Seafoam. I had a Toyota pickup one time, and it would not idle. An older Toyota truck I actually trapped out of, and I put this stuff in the crankcase, and it started idling. Just kind of a slow process, but and I don't even know if there'll be enough in this can to fill the filter completely up. I don't know how much of this you're seeing. Not that this was that exciting anyway. Stuff's quite pungent. And I always try to keep a couple cans of this Seafoam on my truck. Like I said, it's just one of those things that seems like it's got a million uses. Whether it be gasoline or diesel engines. Be quite honest, it probably wouldn't hurt to mix some of it in some saw gas and run it through the old chainsaw. We're about full here. Sounds like Dad's coming up the road. And I always try to get these filters pretty full. Like right there, we're about as full as we can get, because when you put it on, you're going to lose some, but I don't like to get any more air than I absolutely have to on there. So, if you can see over there, that's probably all the closer we're going to get to that. We'll go over here. Just a guess here, she's probably going to smoke like a demon. Sun's probably in your office. So let's extend the old tripod out here and get you from a different angle. Let's fire it up and see if it'll do something for us. Well, just from what I can tell, just from doing that right there, throttle response seems to be a little better already. And I know it's awful quick to tell, but I think that maybe that filter had a little bit to do with it. Now let's dump some How's diesel treatment in the fuel tank to try to combat any water that might be in there. I'm by no means a mechanic, I'm not, I'll be the first to tell you that. But you mess with this old equipment through the years, you kind of pick up a few things, you learn a little bit. And luckily that's part of what I love this old equipment. It's so simple to work on. If something ain't running, always check with the fuel first. It's always usually a fuel problem with these old mechanical engines. So this stuff here I think works really good. This How's. I've got an uncle that swears by it, my Uncle Tom. He used to to run an excavation company. He's retired now, but he's real sharp on diesel engines, machinery, and equipment. He runs this and everything he's still got. He swears by it. Let's go pull in. I jumped in probably more than I should have. It seems how we're having some fuel issues. I think it's better safe than sorry. I jumped in about 32 ounces, so about a quart. I think you can really tell a difference on this stuff. You just kind of smell the exhaust, but it's kind of burns your eyes and nose for sure. But I don't know if that means it's working or not. But let's shut the gate up here and take it for a spin and see if we can tell any difference in the way it's running. Well, it seems to be running pretty good. It's seems to be running with a good full throttle. Filter looks good. I always like to go back and check for air bubbles or anything that might be in the filter. That air, it's it's bad news for fuel systems, you guys know. Like I said, I'm by no means a mechanic, because I'm not. I'm the farthest thing from mechanic there probably ever would be. But you, as I said, you grew up around this stuff. You have enough breakdowns over the years. You kind of learn what some of the little stuff is, and of course, you know, we got 5 of these things, all pretty much the same model, D's and B series, either on the 4045 or the 4276 John Deere engines. Pretty simple engines, all mechanical, really good engines, I think, in my opinion, just little 4-cylinder engines. You know, we've had the bigger Deeres, we've had the G series Deeres with the the 5068, the whatever 68, 6078, whatever Deere engines in them. We've always had good luck with Deere equipment. I can't say, as far as the forestry equipment, I have nothing bad to say about Deere forestry. We've had Timberjacks, we've had the Prentice, and I absolutely love the Cummins engine in the Timberjacks. The only thing I didn't like about the Timberjack 60 series and the Prentice was how electronic they were. As far as the engines, they were great pulling machines, but they were so electronic. these things here, things are pretty simple. Things are very simple, and that's kind of why we scaled back on some of that equipment we had, the simpler stuff. For what we do, easier to move around. The type of logging we do, just get in, get out. It doesn't require a low boy or drop decks like it did with the 490. So hopefully I'll go catch up with Dad, and hopefully this will kind of cure, what we hope's been the problem. And really, I hope that's all it is, because I wouldn't think it could be too much more. But like I said, not a mechanic. So we'll definitely see how this plays out, and I'll keep you guys updated. Now tomorrow we will be back up north, up there working. We'll work up there through the weekend. It's nice to come down here every now and then. We see, get out here. You guys remember this job from a few weeks ago? All the walnut and such out here. Pretty good job of walnut. These logs still haven't been hauled out, but that's okay, because they're bought and paid for. But yeah, so it's nice to come back down here, and I'm excited to get back down here in Southwest Missouri and go back to work. I've got some jobs that we really need to get to, but the weather and everything, this time of year it happens. It happens every year. We get behind, and we try to work 7 days a week just to try to stay caught up, try to stay up with everything. So anyway, back tomorrow, back up north. Hopefully this has got the skidder back up where it needs to be. Just a simple fix. Anymore, I kind of judge it. If you have a breakdown, you can get out of it for $500 or less. You're doing pretty good, because anymore things are so expensive with forestry equipment or just equipment in general. With Brandon and I having the grader and dozer and everything else we got going on, it's always something. And especially when you got 5 log skidders, there's always something that needs attention. So that's it for today. Let's get out of here. We're gonna go give the truck a bath, because we're gonna get her washed good and head back on the road. We'll probably leave back out tonight. I want her all shined up and slicked up, looking good for the trip back north. Guys, see you later. Yeah, look here. Can you see that chunk of ice right there? Yeah, right in there. Ain't no wonder it wasn't running good. No wonder. It don't take very much water in a system to really cause problems. Doesn't take much at all. And like I said, hopefully that's all it is for this. I might come back out here this afternoon with Dad and see if I can make a drag with him, make sure everything's running right. It's about time to get this skidder in for a service. We'll take it into Brandon's shop and do oil and filters. I need to run through the air filters this time, hydraulic filters, and of course the oil filters, oil filters. But a couple cylinders we need to address. We've got a leaky cylinder on the back, and try to keep all this stuff under control. But it's like I said, it's a full-time job when you're going from job to job, just as hard as you can, and you're always out in the field. So at least once or twice a year, you need to try to get your equipment into the shop if you're able to service it and work on it and try to address any problems that might be coming up, or problems it does have, like leaky cylinders. There's nothing I hate more than hydraulic leaks. And a guy told me one time, he said, if you got something with hydraulics and it ain't leaking, he said, you better check to make sure it's got oil in it. And I've always kind of taken that to heart. He was a well driller here at Stockton. But I've always found that to be pretty true, it seems like. So anyway, hopefully that's a quick fix, an easy fix for once. Hopefully we've got lucky on it.